Hey YouTube. Alright, so today I wanted to talk about a question that's on everybody's mind. And it's all over in the news right now. It's one that really we need to address. And that question is, when is Hillary Clinton going to drop out and endorse Bernie Sanders as the nominee for the Democratic Party? Oh, come on, just have some fun about it. Have some fun. Alright, so obviously last night was pretty rough. And to be honest, it was expected. After New York, in all honesty, I kind of stopped paying attention to the whole thing because it was brutally obvious after New York that it didn't even fucking matter anymore. It was just a fucking waste of time, really. But all that said, we give it our best shot and went out there and we fought real hard. And really and truly, I really wish Bernie wasn't as stubborn as he is, because really and truly, he needs to run as an independent, a third-party candidate. And if he does do that, I am 100% convinced that he would win. And even if he doesn't, fuck it. Why the fuck not? But really and truly, what I wanted to talk about today is what I think is going to happen next. And what I think is going to happen is this whole thing can go one or two ways. Either the establishment will get overconfident, and think that they have this in the bag for Hillary, which will of course lead to an epic ass beating by Donald Trump, and we would be facing a Trump president. Or the other way how this can go is they just said, fuck it, why take a chance and just rig it again, rig the general. I mean, if you can steal a primary, why the fuck can't you steal a general election? It's really pretty much the same thing, right? But yeah, so I'm really not sure how this whole thing will go down. That said, they've completely stopped trying to pretend as if this system is fair or this system is democratic. It's like they even stopped trying to even pretend. I mean, just look at the AP before the elections even started last night. The night before called it for freaking Hillary. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And if you guys don't understand how this thing works, it's all the news agencies turn to the AP and they pretty much just recycle whatever the AP says. So for them to call it in favor of Hillary, that was controlling the news cycle. That's what that was. And the other thing that did, and this is probably the bigger reason of why they did it, is because it was an attempt to suppress voter turnout in all of those key states, because they really felt that Bernie would have won California, and that would have upset the apple cart. So, but it's one of these things, and this is the reason why I said it can go one or two ways, where it could end up with Trump winning outright. It's one of these things that the Hillary Clinton campaign has completely underestimated, and the thing that the DNC isn't taken seriously, and it's and this is also the reason why you don't engage in election fraud. is that you make people feel as if their voice doesn't matter. Like, answer me this. Who in their right mind, after going through the last 7 or 8 months that we just had, right? Who in their right mind would stand in a line for 6 freaking hours or more in the middle of, when is it going to be, in November, to vote for a fucking candidate who you don't even freaking like because you're afraid of another candidate? And this is, of course, after months of literally being told that your voice doesn't matter and that your vote doesn't matter and that they don't want you to vote. And they don't, or like what they did in Nevada, where they straight up don't care what your vote is. They're just going to do whatever the fuck they want and give it to whoever they feel like, you know? Or the bullshit they did in New York, where, you know, they'll just drop you off the polls, you know? Or just not count your vote, you know? Like, who in their right mind, after going through all of that for the last 7 or 8 months, would then show up, stand in line for 6+ hours to vote for a candidate you don't freaking like? In its fucking common sense, nobody's gonna fucking do that, apart from a few people who are really hardcore supporters. And the reason why I decided to talk about that is that people are underestimating this Bernie or bust thing, but this thing is real. Like, I, for one, there ain't no freaking way I'm ever going to support Hillary. It's just never going to happen. I'm sorry. It just will not happen, you know? But what's surprising is I have another friend who was one of the, she was a hardcore Bernie supporter too. But she did say that, look, you know, at the end of the day, as a woman, she doesn't want to lose a lot of the rights that feminists have fought for how many generations, you know, to a fucking Republican, you know. And I totally respect that stance, you know. So she said, you know, as much as it sucks, she would vote for Hillary in that situation, because at least she knows on those issues that she's not going to go the right-wing way, you know. Even her, talking to her, she has now switched to Bernie or bust. And it wasn't not anything that I said to convince her. It was literally the Clinton campaign that did that to her. And it was literally Hillary supporters and the way how they've been acting for the last couple months, and just acting as if this fucking fraud isn't happening, you know, that really turned her off. And also the dismissive attitude and the way how they treat Bernie supporters, that has gotten her to become a Bernie or bust person. And especially the fraud in New York, you know. Come on. And even if you're the most obtuse person out there, let me ask you this question. There's an old saying that says, follow the money, right? If Bernie Sanders was outraising Hillary consistently for months, right? He was doing it from contributions of averaging about, what, $32, I think it's what it's at right now. $32. He's raising from way more people. How is it that he then has less votes? Like, there's a fucking disconnect there, because why would you donate to a campaign, work for a campaign, and then not vote? That don't make any sense. You know, there's a complete disconnect there, you know. Bernie shows up to New York, pulls fucking 40,000 people, and the numbers don't turn out, you know. Even if you don't believe any of the other obvious cases of fraud, just common sense will tell you that there's something wrong there, you know. But I mean, if you don't want to believe that anything was wrong, keep sticking your head in the sand. I'm not going to tell you otherwise. So now the question is, where do we go from here as Bernie supporters? And that's ultimately a decision you're going to have to make for yourself. Well, like I said, I already made my decision from the second Bernie said that he was going to run, that I'm Bernie or bust all the way. And if by some miracle, Bernie, you do see this video, please, for the love of God, run as an independent. You're the person who we want. Never Hillary. Feel the burn.